Welcome back to Politics Nation. It's a consequential moment for America's educational institutions, from elementary school classrooms to college campuses. And we have two perfect guests to help break all of it out. Rodriguez Murray, Senior Vice President of Public Policy and Government Affairs at the United Negro College Fund, and the one and only Randi Weingarten, President of the American Federation of Teachers, and author of the new book, Why Fascists Fear Teachers. Thanks to both of you for being here. Let me start with you, Randi. We're just days away from a potential government shutdown. The Trump administration has already gutted the Department of Education with the goal of eliminating it entirely. What impact would the shutdown have on America's schools?
Well, nobody wants a shutdown, but let's actually think about why the Democrats are fighting so hard to negotiate a budget that would actually delay, try to cancel the huge crisis in healthcare that is about to happen. People are about to get their premium notices, people who are on Obamacare, other kinds of medical care. And those premium notices, because this big ugly bill yanked millions, billions of dollars out of Medicaid and out of the Obamacare premiums, they're going to go from $7,000 premium payment to $24,000. So you want to know what's going to happen to education? If parents are one illness away from bankruptcy, if they can't afford those premium payments, what do you think is going to happen to their kids when they go to school? What's going to happen now that we don't have SNAP or nutrition services anymore? What's going to happen if the Trump administration actually gets what it wants, which is to cut 25% of Title I funding for poor kids? After cutting all the different grants that they just cut to New York City and to Fairfax and others. So what they're doing is they're creating huge disruption. They do it by thousands of different cuts. They do it by the fear that they're doing. And teachers every single day are trying to hold it together. So yes, a shutdown would be bad, but what they have proposed is even worse. Let
me ask this to Rodriguez then, because as you talk about the funding, Rodriguez, this week, the United Negro College Fund received a $70 million donation from Mackenzie Scott, the ex-wife of Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. The money is meant to help bolster the endowments of HBCUs at a time when many are facing financial strain. Can you talk a bit about the importance of the significance of this donation?
Thanks a lot, Reverend Sharpton. We're glad to be with you today. I want to say this about HBCUs, that we've been underfunded since our inception. And the gift from Mackenzie Scott is going to be huge in terms of bolstering the endowments of HBCUs. When you put all HBCUs together, you don't get a single endowment of one Ivy League institution when you have all HBCU endowments cumulative. And so it's important that we grow the endowment. It is the #1 means test for a strong institution. And so we at the UNCF, led by Dr. Michael Lomax, whom you know well, we are going about this work and we're changing the whole complexion of HBCUs. And this is coming off the back of a big increase from the Trump administration just a week or so ago.
Now, one final question to you on HBCUs. We saw a rash of threats against HBCUs campuses in the wake of the killing of Charlie Kirk earlier this month. There are some heated moments this week on the campus at Tennessee State University, where a group of conservatives were escorted off campus after trying to stage what they call a debate in the style of Charlie Kirk. The right is trying to frame this as a free speech issue. Are you concerned about the way these campuses are being politicized right now, and how can we bring down the temperature?
Reverend Sharpton, one thing we've done at UNCF and all across HBCUs is make these institutions something that both sides of the aisle can agree on. This is something that President Biden has trumpeted in terms of funding increases, and you see President Trump doing the same thing. I believe that we at HBCUs, the students, the faculty, and the staff, can find a way to thread the needle and continue to have these institutions viewed as positive for both Democrats and Republicans and everyone else all across the political spectrum because of what we provide to the country, which are graduates, they are diverse, and they're strong, and they're world changers, and they're the kind of individuals that this country and this world needs. And HBCUs do it better than anyone else.
Randy, speaking of Charlie Kirk, teachers nationwide are being threatened for expressing their opinions in the wake of the conservative activist killing. Oklahoma Superintendent of Public Instruction Ryan Walters called for installing a Turning Points USA chapter in every high school. Now we're learning Walters plans to resign and a job with a group devoted to limiting teachers' unions' influence. What's your reaction, and is this what you're talking about in this new book you're writing, Why Fascism Fears Teachers?
So let me just say that, and I love that the HBCUs got this big donation, and we are rooting for the success of all the HBCUs, as well as all the community colleges and state universities, because we know that higher education is absolutely essential as an economic engine for young people. In terms of what happened to Mr. Kirk, we must all condemn in the strongest possible ways any political violence.
Right.
Any, period. And we must all work to de-escalate political violence. What's happened with Mr. Walters is that he's just trying to figure out other ways to escalate, not to de-escalate. That's why when he went after he quit his job and said, you know, basically made a threat to both Becky Pringle and I. And so we have to look at all of it, de-escalate, and fight all of it.
Is that what you're talking about in the book?
So, exactly right. What I did in the book is talk about fascism and fascistic behavior. I made a warning. I'm a school teacher, not just a union activist. And what's clear to me is that people don't know what fascism is. They don't know what authoritarian is. So what they see is they think we're just being, or people, when they use a term, are just being political. We want critical thinking for not only adults, but for our kids. And what I wanted to do here is not only do a warning, but also what is the antidote? HBCUs are the antidote. Public education done well is the antidote. When teachers in classrooms are trying to create a safe and welcoming environment, that's the antidote to political violence. Let them have the resources and the supports to do those kind of things. Right. And what's the biggest antidote? Kids really understanding and discerning fact from fiction. Them understanding, as the founders asked us to do, to actually make education the foundation stone of this country.
Randi Weingarten and Rodriguez Maury, thank you both for being with us. Up next, a new book by a special person I'll explain after a short break.